Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Nate and Happy New Year. It is 2024 as you are watching this video. I will be hopefully putting it up on the 1st. This is going to be my TBR video, the first one for 2024 for January, and yeah, we're going to be figuring out what books I'm going to be reading. Before we start, I just want to say a huge thank you. I reached 200 subscribers in December, which honestly blows my mind. I genuinely never really thought I would get that far. I've tried to do YouTube a few times in the past and I've never really gotten anywhere with it, so kind of starting this booktube last December and then kind of really being a bit more consistent in May. I still didn't really think it would, go that far, but the fact that I've got 200 subscribers is just so fantastic for me. So thank you so much. I am so genuinely appreciative of it. That's a big thing that I do want to do in 2024 is be a lot more interactive in booktube as a whole instead of kind of like a silent lurker, which is kind of what I am at the moment. I watch a lot of videos, but I don't really comment as much and I don't really interact as much as I would like to do. So that's something I want to work on for 2024. Also for 2024, I do have a lot of bookish goals that I want to do, and I have made a video about it, which will be up before or after this one. I'm not quite sure yet. When I'm making my TBR games now, I'm going to be trying to actually intentionally thinking about some of those goals and what I want to get on here, because that's something I found last year. I had bookish goals, but then wasn't actively thinking about them while making this TBR. So I do have some book clubs and stuff that I also want to get on, hopefully for January, but we shall see. If they don't make it on, I will add them on at the end and talk about them. I will be honest, I'm kind of going to reset for January and just kind of set my points to 0 and just start fresh for the new year. December was a lot more stressful than I thought it was going to be in terms of work, and then I got a little bit sick, and then I just went home and chilled for Christmas, and so I didn't do as much reading as I wanted to, which is fine. So I'm gonna, we're starting from 0 for January, and we will just start fresh for the new year. I will be honest, I'm not sure how much reading is going to get done in January. I have assessments that I need to work on, and I haven't done as much as I really should have at this point, but it's fine. So audiobooks might become more useful as opposed to physical reading, but we'll see as we get down that line. I did want to say before I start my game, I mentioned briefly in December that I am taking away the punishment element for my game. My game is worked on points as I am on a book buying ban, so I earn points for the books that I read, and I did have a punishment element in. I've taken that punishment element away, but I am adding in a reward element to kind of add the incentive to actually kind of read the whole TBR, and that is so that if I read all of the TBR books that I picked from this game, I get an extra 20 points a month. There is going to be no minusing, but the 20 points is there to kind of make it like the incentive to finish the game, because otherwise I was like, well, then I'll just read whatever because it doesn't matter. So adding that incentive in, I think is a nice positive, but I didn't want to have a detraction because we're all just going to be about for 2024 is enjoying all the reads. So yes, that is, I think, everything I kind of want to talk about beforehand. So yeah, we will get into the roles. Now, for people that have never watched one of these videos before, I play a TBR game that is this, that I made up. I just roll the dice, get around the board, and pick books based on the different prompts and such that I land on. However, for 2024, I have revamped it. I bought an old Monopoly board and I painted it. It is essentially the same game, the same colors, the same kind of prompts. I've just made them look nicer. There are some new squares, like particularly where the stations were and the corner squares. And if we land on them, I'll tell you what they are. I don't need to really explain the rules. It's a pretty simple game, but yeah, I'll explain it as we go. I just kind of wanted it to look fresher and a bit more professional, which sounds silly for like a little game that I play to pick books, but I just kind of thought that would be quite nice. I have also printed out all of my cards and laminated them. It just looks a bit nicer than my like crappily drawn board and my little shitty handwriting. So yes, with that, let's get into the first book that we were picking for January 2024, which sounds wild. So as the board is quite a little bit bigger now, it means I can use bigger figures as my counters, and so I'm going to be using this little soccer figure. I have all of my jars here just in case. So this is the start, and we basically have to get around the whole board and end back here. Now I will be playing with a D12 as there is a few more spaces. In my old game I played with a D6. A D12 I've played a few times and works out about 5 to 7-ish books, which is kind of my comfort spot. So our first roll for 2024, I'm very excited. And I missed. This is specifically here so it doesn't make noise, but that's fine. So that is a 9, which I will know is a green. So that, our first book is a graphic novel. What a lovely first book. What a love, fresh, easy prompt to start the year with. I'm specifically going to be using the graphic novel prompt for graphic novels. I have a different prompt that has manga because I do have some graphic novels that I've not read and I do want to try and keep them separate. So for graphic novel, I'll be reading Heartstopper Volume 3. Now I am already slightly in this. Only about, I'd say, a third of the way through. I stopped reading it because I hadn't finished season 2 yet, and so this started to go into season 2, so I stopped reading it. But yes, I'm going to put this volume on there, but I'm also going to put volume 4 on there since these really don't take that long to read, and I do have them both, and I know volume 5 has just come out. I'll be honest, I'm not in love with this series. I think it's decent, but I don't think it's amazing. I think the art is a bit too simplistic for my personal taste. I like quite intricate art. It's more to do with like backgrounds and such. I don't really care about the characters having simplistic art styles, but there's very limited backgrounds and like details. I literally just flipped to a page that has quite a nice background. but in general, there's not as much background details and such that I would like to see, but I do enjoy reading these series. They are quite a quick and easy, and they're a cute read. I have now finished season 2, which I did not enjoy as much as season 1, but I still enjoyed it and will still be carrying on with the TV series. I will say I did read a light novel. Why did I say light novel? Not a light novel. I did read a novella from this series, the Nick and Charlie novella, and I didn't particularly like it, so I don't know how much I will actually read of Alice Oseman's novella writing, but I am going to continue on with the series, and I will continue on with the TV show. So this will be the first book for the graphic novel prompt. Moving on to roll 2. Let's try and actually get it in the dice box. Okay, oh, it's another 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That is white, which is a 3 pick. 3 picks I can pick at the end, and they can literally be anything. So we'll go straight on to roll 3, which is a 5. Which is purple, which is a spinner wheel jar pick. So I have 3 different jars and they are all on this spinner wheel, so I spin it, which makes me pick a jar. This one is the standalone jar. The standalones have been moved into this jar, so I have in here pictures of all the standalones I bought pre-June or July 2023. All of the ones that I own. I took out the ones that my sister owns. I will read some of those at some points, but I want to try and read my physical TBR. And yeah, this will just be a random pick. So far I've not managed to get anything I wanted to on here. So let's see, let's dig right down. We will go with, there's 2. So I'm gonna just we'll go with this one. That was harder than it should have been. And this book is The Red of My Blood. Let me grab it. This took me longer to find than I thought because I forgot it was a hardcover. I was looking on my paperback shelves. So this is The Red of My Blood. This is by Clover Stroud. And this is a death and life story. It is a memoir. It's a memoir about Clover's twin sister who died aged 46 of breast cancer only days before she had been given years to live. And it's about her sudden death splitting Clover's life apart. Me and my sister actually went and saw this author speak in our local Waterstones, and she signed it for us. And we got it signed, and I thought it was a really interesting story. As a twin, I like reading stories about twins, and it's also actually someone that is a local, like to where I live as well, so where I currently live, not where I'm from, but where I currently live, and I'm so quite interested in reading this story and hearing her story of of how this grief and loss has affected her post her sister's death. I just think it sounds really interesting. So yeah, I wouldn't have picked this up in a very long time. It is a memoir. It's not very long. It is like 260 something pages. So I don't think it'll take me too long to read. I'm notorious for taking a bit longer with memoirs, and I actually usually listen to them. So I might see if this is on Spotify or something, but I'm not sure if it will be. So I will try reading it regardless. But yes, this is the book the standalone jar picked for us. And we shall go on to the next roll. So let's roll. Another 9. How random. 9 and another green. We have a manga. So for our green prompt, we got manga, and for this, I'm going to be putting on Haikyuu volume 25. I am really excited to continue with this series. However, I don't actually want to catch up. So this is still covered, I think, in season 4 of the anime, and I don't want to catch up because the anime is having 2, I think, last movies. I think one's coming out in February. I'm not sure if the other one's coming out in February or somewhere else. And I really want to finish this series watching the anime. I started watching anime and I've never read past that. I have a rough idea of what happens just from spoilers that I've read, but I've never read the actual complete conclusion. And so I really want to watch the conclusion for the first time. I want to be in the cinema, crying, emotional, experiencing the story for the first time through the anime. So I don't want to catch up, but I do think I'm a few volumes away from catching up. So I think I feel comfortable and safe putting this volume on here, and that it won't make me then just want to go and sprint ahead and finish the series, because yeah, I'm so excited to finish the anime. It's one of my favorites and I just am so excited. So yeah, I can't wait to finish it. I'm so excited. I really wish there had been another season as opposed to movies, just because a season's really long out, but I'm hoping, you know, the animation, I'm hoping it's going to just be amazing, you know, movie money going into it, and I'm really, really hoping it gets shown in the UK. We have had some good anime movies recently that have come to the UK. You know, there was a One Piece movie, Dragon Ball. I went and watched the Demon Slayer movie, so, you know, there's good stuff. So I'm hoping the Haikyuu one makes it over here too. But this will be the next book that I will put on for this prompt. On to the next roll. This is the end spot, so we only need, I think, 8. And that's a 6. 6. Okay, this is a red. Reds are danger, so this could change the game. So let's have a look. Oh, okay, that has changed the game. Oh, shit. So that is turn around at the start is the end. So I have to go all the way back around. I don't have to pick a book for that prompt, so we will just go into the next roll. That's I thought we had such a smooth ride. But okay, I still have to remember I have a fruit pick as well. So, and of course we get a 3. Okay, this is actually one of my new spots. It just says EV, which I'm sure you can guess, is ebook. I have these are permanent prompt spots, basically for specific things. This one is ebook. Okay, so that's possibly the worst card I could have gotten at that spot. That's fine. I had 4 books on there, but we're turning around or we're starting again, and then I get a 3, which is typical. But anyway, I did land on one of my new permanent spaces, which I'm pretty happy about, and it is the ebook space. Now, ebook specifically means for ebooks that I own, not just one on BorrowBox or on Kindle Unlimited. The reason being that although I am on a physical book buying ban, I'm not on a digital one because I don't really mind having a big digital library, but I have not read a single one of them that I've bought. I do only buy them from like Amazon's 99p Kindle sales. I've never spent any more than 99p on them, but I think I've bought like 20, so it's still like 20 quid. So I'm actually going to read one of them. So I'm going to quickly have a flick through my Kindle and have a look to see what I have bought that I'm interested in and is potentially short for this month. Oh, actually, what I think I'm going to do is I think I'm going to leave this as a poll pick. Each month I really like the idea of adding in a poll pick, so I will pick 2 books and then make a poll on my community tab and leave it up to you guys to pick. I think that's a nice way of like getting kind of some community involvement. I was a bit worried because I wasn't sure if anyone would, but then I was like, at least my mum and my 2 sisters would vote. So that would at least be 3 people. If there is 50-50, I will just pick, and I don't know how, I'll probably give it maybe a week or so. We'll see. But yeah, that's what I'm going to do. So let's see what I think I'm going to pick on there. The 2 that I think I'm going to go for, so this will be in a poll pick, and as this video goes up, I will post the poll as the same time this video goes up. So I won't know which ones I get until maybe a week after this, but that's fine. The 2 I think I'm going to go between are A Dowry of Blood. I'm not sure, I can't see who the author is, but I will put the picture in here because I haven't got my glasses on. So yeah, A Dowry of Blood. I've heard a lot of people talk about that. I think it's relatively short and it sounds quite interesting. So I'll put that one up here. And then also, I think The Hunting Party by Lucy Foley. I can see her name. So these are the 2 books that are the option for the poll book. For the ebook, like I said, I will put, as you watch this video, it should be up. We'll see how long I leave it for. It doesn't really matter, but the poll pick will be up as this video. So yes, for the ebook prompt, I will either be reading A Dowry of Blood or The Hunting Party. On to the next roll. Let's hope for some more 9s now. I bet now we're just going to get really small numbers, but that's fine. That's fine. Go for a big one. A 12. Perfect. So that's 10. So 12 will be there, which is a spinner. We got a standalone last time, so what are we going to get this time? The series jar. Okay, so I have actually moved my series jar into this. I painted this relatively recently. The top doesn't 100% match, but that's fine. So yeah, I've put my series stuff in here. This jar has all of the books and series that I'm currently in the middle of. I have put all the books individually, so the ones that series that have more volumes have more of a chance. But yeah, so let's have a scrummage and have a look. I'm going to grab this one from the bottom. Okay, it is a George R.R. Martin's Song of Ice and Fire book, which kind of makes sense because I do have quite a few of them in here, but I will be honest, I'm still in the middle of this book, which I think is this one anyway, but I pulled this out a couple of months ago and I never finished it, so I'm going to put this back in my jar because that probably represents another book, which is fine. I am at page 255 and I think it's like about 560, so I'm just under halfway. Yeah, so I'm just going to put this book back on here. I don't have any rules in my games that I can't put books that I'm halfway through or that I've put on before in, so yeah, I do enjoy reading these books. They do just take me a lot longer to read because I do physically read them. Yeah, I just kind of let it slip. I just stopped reading it. I think I sometimes also get to a chapter of a character where I'm like not as interested, or I'm a bit or I don't like some of the stuff that happens. This is the 3rd book, the 2nd book, the 2nd book in the series, like the 2nd one, the 1st one, the 3rd one, the 3rd book in the series. So this is from season 3. So I know the stuff this is going to lead to. It's not going to happen until the 2nd book in this. So I'm a bit nervous, which I just don't want to read. It's going to make me sad. But yeah, I am excited to carry on reading this. I do want to not have so many books that I'm halfway through. So this will help with that. So this is the next book on the series. It is a long one, but that's fine. Moving on to our next roll. Oh, I'll take it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is my first black and a green. So the green will be an audiobook. That works out beautifully. And then the black will be to read it in 3 days for an extra 10 points. So these 2 prompts are lovely and perfect, and I will, like I said, probably be using audiobooks. So I think the one I'm going to be putting on for this is a book that I'm going to be reading for a book club. Now, I cannot remember 100% the name of the book club. It's here on YouTube, and I heard about it from the channel Pages with Paige. They have announced this book club they're doing where for the first 6 months, every other month, they will be reading a book from the Greenbone saga. So I have Jade Hall. No, I don't. I have Jade City, and this is the first book. It's for January, and then Jade War, which I think is 2nd, is in March, and Jade Legacy is in May. So I at least wanted to really try and get in and join in with this series. I have read 100 pages of this book almost a year ago. I was a library loan at the time, and so I never finished it and had to give it back, but I did enjoy it. So I think I will probably be listening to this as well as reading it, but I will put it on as my audiobook because I think that will really challenge me to get it done in 3 days, and I'll be using my Spotify to listen to this. Something I want to do every month this year is make sure I get a Spotify book on my TBR. It's a perk as a paying membership, so I might as well use it. So I will be using Spotify for this book specifically. I will definitely at least be rereading the first 100 pages by the audiobook, but then I will probably do a bit of both. Hopefully I like the audiobook already, because I haven't actually gone and listened to what it sounds like. I think now I'm going to be a bit stricter going into the new year. If I don't like audiobook narrators, not listening to the audiobooks, because I have found that I struggled with a few books in 2023 where I did not like an audiobook narrator, and I think it affected the way that I enjoyed the book. Anyway, this will be the audiobook. Like I said, I'm not going to 100% listen to an audiobook. I will read some of it as well, but I will definitely be using the audiobook for it, and I will try and get it done in 3 days, which is a bit of a task because it's a big book, so maybe that's a mistake. It's just under 500 pages, but I feel like I should be able to. I read Wuthering Heights in December in a day, and that was like 400 pages via audiobook, so that was a lot, but this should be good. So yeah, on to the next roll. Oh, that's a 10, so that'll be this one, which is another red. So let's do the green first. So the green is a fantasy book, lovely, and then the red is the biggest book on TBR. Okay, so I will do the biggest book that's on my TBR that is a fantasy, which I feel like is going to be a Game of Thrones book. I will go and have a look. Okay, so the first book that I can read on my TBR that is the biggest, because I do have Inheritance, which is number 4 in that series. I have read number 3, but I'm rereading the series and I'm still halfway through number 2. And then I also have the 4th book in A Song of Ice and Fire, which I can't read because I haven't read the 3rd book, or like the second half of the 3rd book that is my editions. So the next book that I can read is, it's technically an omnibus of 3 books, but I will read it as one, and that is this book, which is omnibus 2. So give me a second. So I have the first one again. So this is the omnibus of, it is Chronicles of Ancient Darkness. It is by Michelle Paver. It is a bind-up of Wolf Brother, Spirit Walker, and Soul Eater. I believe this is a middle... Why don't I actually look it up since I've got Goodreads open and tell you what it is. It is 6,000 years ago, evil stalks the land. Only 12-year-old Torak and his wolf cub companion can defeat it. Their journey together takes them through deep forests, across giant glaciers, and into dangers they never imagined. In this page-turning, original, and spectacular told adventure story, Torak and Wolf are joined by an incredible cast of characters as they battle to save their world in the first book of the Chronicles of Darkness. So yeah, I've owned these for ages. I bought them both at book sales where they were like £2 or something each, and yeah, I've definitely had them over 5 years because they came up here with me, so I'm excited to read them. But that was a bit of a struggle, a bit of faff trying to find that book, so I apologize. Yeah, that's the book for my fantasy book. That is the biggest book on my TBR. So we are 6 away from home now, and I cannot land on another red, so I can't go back anywhere. So let's see if we can get a straight 6. Let's roll. An 8, perfect. So the end spot is all 3, so I pick a green, which is a author's debut, a blue, which is with a female main character, and then a black, which is to finish in 2 days for 15 points. I'm going to have to do some research about this because I genuinely have no idea. But for the female main character and an author debut, I actually have one that I wanted to read for a book club. It is a book club from Meg Reads' book club. I will leave a link to her channel and her book club announcement video. And she has a book club where we specifically read like middle grade books. This is going to be the first time I'm participating, and I'm very excited to participate. And the book is Kingdom Over the Sea. Now I own this, so I was going to try and see if I could get it on here and participate anyways. So the fact that I can is really encouraging, and I'm very excited. This is the author's debut, which is lovely. The author is Zora Nabi. When Yara's mother passes away, she leaves behind a letter with a set of strange instructions. If Yara wants to know the truth about her past, you must travel to Zehaira, a place that isn't on any map, a city of sorceresses, alchemists, and magic. But Zehaira is not what it used to be. Magic has been outlawed, and the Sultan is plotting a sinister scheme that threatens the lives of the people who wield it. As the secret of Yara's past unfolds, can she help her new friends and find a place in her magical world? It is a spellbinding story of friendship, bravery, and hope. It is also just quite beautiful. Like, I really like the cover. I need to take the sticker off, but yeah. So I picked this up last year quite randomly. I wanted to try and read it this month so I could participate in the live show. Like I said, I wanted to try and make an effort this year to do a little bit more in terms of that for BookTube, so I'm quite happy about that. So this will be my read for that. And also, if I can finish it in 2 days, I get those extra points. So that is the end for my TBR game. So those books are the ones specifically on my TBR game. However, I do have a few books that I was not able... Oh no, that's a lie actually. I have a free pick still. I have a free pick. Okay, I forgot about that. So for my free pick, I'm going to be putting on Castle in the Air. This is by Diane Wynne Jones, and it's called like the second book to the Howl's Moving Castle book, which I listened to a few years ago. But I'll be honest, I don't know how from the description it relates in any way, because this sounds like it's more of a Aladdin or Prince Ali kind of story It is about Abdullah is a humble carpet merchant, yet in his dreams he is a prince, but his dreams start to come true and when he meets the lovely Flower in the night. When a hideous jinn carries Flower off into the sky, Abdullah is determined to rescue her if he can find her and if he can avoid all the ferocious villains who seem to be after him. But how can he possibly succeed with only a bad-tempered genie and an unreliable magic carpet to help him? That doesn't sound like anything like House Moving Castle, so I don't know if it's more like it's set in a similar kind of world, but yes, the reason that I want to read this month is it has a cat just there. And one of my goals for this year is to participate in Chantel Reeds's Tackle Your TBR year-long readathon thing. I'm probably butchering that, but it's basically a year-long kind of prompt readathon. This year it's separated into two different kind of like paths that you pick one and you follow down for the prompts, and then you can switch over at certain points through the year. So I wanted to go down I can't remember what it's called, but I wanted to go down this path, and the first prompt was to read a book that has a cat on the cover. It is very small, but there is a cat on this cover, so I want to read this month to hit that prompt and then move on to the next month in February. With these kind of things, I will be honest, if I don't do it in January, I will just kind of still do it in order. I just want to do all 12, but the goal is to try and do them one a month. So that book is for the free pick. We'll hit that. So that is the official end for my game TBR, which I'll go through in a minute with the different prompts and stuff. But there are a few extra books that I do want to read this month for different read-alongs and different goals and challenges that I have for myself. So each month I do want to try and make sure that I am getting the money usage out of the subscription services that I pay for. I'm going to be using Spotify to listen to Jade War, but I also do pay for Kindle Unlimited, so I really want to try and read some books on Kindle Unlimited. So one of the books that I do want to try and read on there, which I also might listen to on an audiobook through my library, is Keepers of the Lost City by Shannon Messenger. This is Meg Reads' kind of channel read-along throughout the year. I think there's 9 books in this series, and she is doing a channel read-along. You read one a month. So in addition to her book club, I will also hopefully be reading this. Like I said, I do have this book out from my library, but the audiobook, so I will be either listening to it or reading it, or maybe both. So I also wanted to add an additional book on that I will be reading from Kindle Unlimited to also use it, and that is Once There Was a Villain. This is by Indie Gura. I apologize if that's wrong, and I think it's a self-published book, and I specifically wanted to read this because it has the word "there" in the title. I will be attempting to do Kayla's buzzword challenge for the year, and the first prompt is a book with there, or there in the title. So I went into Kindle and just searched the different theirs, and this was one that came up. It's not very long. I think it's a YA. It's about basically a girl who gets kidnapped, realizes no one's going to come and save her, and so kind of becomes a villain-ish to try and save herself. But I think there might be romance, and yeah, I'm not sure. It sounds interesting. There's not a huge amount of reviews on it, but it has, I think, pretty positive reviews, but I'm just kind of interested to see. So the mix of those two books will be what I use to kind of use my Kindle Unlimited for the month. The only other book that I may or may not read this month, or I might listen to, is Circe by Madeline Miller. This is for my in-person book club that I do with my sisters. We're not having this until the middle of February, so if I don't read it in January, I will listen to it at the beginning of February, but I do have the audiobook out from my library, so that's probably why I probably will try and do that. So yeah, I think that is everything. So let's go through the books that we have and cry, because I didn't want a huge month, but that's fine. So this is the stack. Now, I did put the second Heartstopper on there, but it really won't take me that long to read. We have Heartstopper for a graphic novel. The Red of My Blood was a standalone jar pick. Haikyuu was for a manga pick. A Storm of Swords and Part 1 Steel and Snow. This was for my series jar pick. Jade City is for an audiobook. Chronicles of Ancient Darkness is for a fantasy that is the biggest book on my TBR. The Kingdom Over the Sea is for a author's debut with a female main character. And then my free pick is Castle in the Air. So these are the books that I have now that I know. I also do have my ebook, which will either be Hunting Party or Dowry of Blood. And then I do, like I said, have those other 2 books, but they are not part of the official TBR. So I have to read all of these to get my extra 20 points this month. I don't 100% see it happening, but I'm actually quite excited. I'm excited that I managed to get a few of the book club things on here, a few of the tasks. I do, like I said, really want to prioritize reading each month, trying to hit some goals. And this does carry on with the graphic novel series, carry on with the manga series, carry on with the book series, but it does start 2 new series, which, yeah, we'll see. It does carry on with this one though, but I don't know if I consider myself reading that series. But anyway, this is the stat. It feels hefty. There are some big books there, but I'm excited. I'm excited to go into 2024. I'm excited to start reading. I feel like I need a bit of a refresh, and yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to try and do some fun reading vlogs challenges over the next coming months. My next 5 months are potentially going to be a bit not as quick as I would like to be. Let me put these down because I'm finishing off my undergraduate degree, but that's fine. We're just going to take every week as it comes. So yeah, that is my stack. Thank you guys for watching. Remember, there is a poll pick if you're watching this one. It's just gone up. If you want to vote on it, you don't have to. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you again hopefully soon. I hope I haven't forgotten anything, but if I have, editing me can fix that. I will see you again hopefully soon. Bye.